What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, back to the LessAlex podcast. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you are watching this live, I appreciate you. You're all the MVPs, most certainly. If you're listening to this after the fact on the podcast version, appreciate you all the same. Make sure to give this a 5-star review. It really helps grow the channel and grow the content. I appreciate everybody. Today, if you're watching, you can see we have on Bouchard of Red Cape Sports. Bird, how's it going?
Man, it's going well. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but I made sure to grab my lucky St. Louis Cardinals hat today.
Is there? Absolutely. Definitely. Obviously, the trade heard around the sports world. Nolan Arenado to the St. Louis Cardinals. I touched on it in my live stream, but I wanted to dig deep into it here on the podcast and get everyone in the live stream's thoughts and opinions on this, and obviously get your thoughts and opinions as you are a Cardinals fan. But before we get started, everybody go check out Red Cape Sports. They're one of my favorite sports card YouTube channels. Literally been watching them since before I was even making content. You guys should go tab over if you're watching. Do whatever you got to do. Check them out. Your link is in the description below, so go check them out. And then, Bird, if you want to tell everybody else where that folks can find you before we get into this.
Yeah, so we also have a free Facebook group. That's on Facebook at Red Cape Sports. Definitely be sure to check that out. And then if you guys like tweets about, everything under the sun, you can also follow me on Twitter, Bird_Bouchard. So
yeah, and Robert McCovey says beards and bird hats. Absolutely. This was not planned. I didn't say, hey man, make sure to wear your Cardinals hat, but it just worked out that way. So yeah, I guess we can just jump in and start getting into this. So here is the official trade, guys. If you didn't know, you're living under a rock at this point, but the St. Louis Cardinals acquire Nolan Arenado and cash considerations. I do think it's in the range of $35 to $50 million from the Rockies. In exchange, the Rockies acquired Austin Gomber, who is the only actual MLB player in this trade that the Cardinals are giving up. Elhidris Montero, Tony Losi, I don't even know who that is, Mateo Gil, and Jake Sommers. Overall, geez, say what you want about John Mozeliak, but holy smokes, when he trades for these big blockbuster trades, he absolutely destroys the other team.
Yep. Yeah. Dude, that's just it. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, this is one of, if not the best third basemen in all of baseball.
He's the best.
I just wanted to give it for an argument's sake, but yeah, like honestly, he's the best, whether it be defensively with the bat, of course you can probably make some arguments that it might be someone else, but overall, I think he's the best. And I even read last night on the score that the Colorado Rockies are actually going to be paying that $35 million salary for the year 2021. So we get Arenado, don't give up too much, and we get him for free, basically, which is just mind-boggling. Yeah. And arguably speaking, we have the best corner defense in baseball.
Goldschmidt's a multiple-time Gold Glover, and Arenado has won 8 Gold Gloves, 4 platinum gloves, 4 silver sluggers, and has been in the top 10 MVP consideration the last 4 seasons, excluding 2020. When I saw it announced that we were in the trade talks, I was in the same boat as I was last year, right? Like last year, this time in 2019, I guess it was 2 years ago. Time's flying. But anyway, I was like, okay, I'm excited. But this year, I'm like, all right, fool me once, kind of thing. But I was like, is this going to happen? Like, I don't know. What were you thinking whenever you saw that we're in the trade talks before it was confirmed?
Same thing as you, right? Because last year, obviously going into the pandemic, the exact same talks were coming around, right? Oh, well, Arenado is going to be the St. Louis Cardinal. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the entire 2020 season, he wasn't. So when I first kind of started hearing like the rumblings of this, I was like, here we go again, right?
Yep, exactly.
Like you said, right? It's that little carrot being dangled out in front of us. We're about to get Arenado. We're about to get him. And listen, Mo got it done. So we got Arenado, and now it's time to win a division, maybe win a playoff series, and go from there. But the pitching still scares me. It really does.
I understand that, but I think this puts us as a clear favorite in the NL Central. I don't think you can really argue that much. Basically, almost every single team in the NL Central has either stayed flat or gotten worse.
Yeah.
What have the Brewers done this offseason? Like nothing. They're trying to trade their best pitcher in Josh Hader, and if that happens, what are we looking at over there? But obviously I would suspect the Reds are going to lose Trevor Bauer. I would just, who knows? Trevor Bauer is very unpredictable, and he loves trolling the fans. He's doing the different hats every day and all that fun stuff. And I love that he's doing that stuff. It's great for the game of baseball, but I think they get worse. Obviously, the Cubs are trying to trade Chris Bryant, who you can argue, is he even an all-star anymore? Maybe not, but he's definitely one of their most popular players. And obviously they lost their Cy Young level, Yu Darvish, their pitcher. So I think everybody, and including the Cardinals, until very recently, they signed Wainwright. They're going to sign Yachty, is what I'm hearing. And then, obviously, the huge Arenado trade. Until that point, though, I would say we were not doing a whole lot. And then, I don't think – what do you think – okay, so here's something I've been seeing a lot of Cardinals fans saying in response to the Arenado trade is, great, now sign Colton Wong. Do you think that's going to happen?
Listen, I hope so. I think Colton Wong is such an integral piece
I agree.
to that team, right? Whether it be defensively, those key defensive plays, and his bat argument, it's not that bad. I'm hoping that they sign him, but here's the thing: spring training is going to start soon, and it's getting later and later and later into the season. And time is slowly ticking. I hope they get it done. If they don't, I imagine you might see someone like Tommy Edman come in and take that spot, but we'll see, man. I want them to keep Wong. That's just me.
I do too. He's my favorite player on the team, other than Yadier Molina. Obviously he's currently not on the roster, but I think, it would be so dope if we could get him back. But here I'm gonna pull up for the YouTube audience. Yep. We got Baseball Reference here. This is Colton Wong. He hit 265 last year, 1 home run. He's never been a home run hitter. I don't expect him to really, hit dingers. But the glove is what's most important. And 265 batting average with an on-base percentage of 350 that's fine. That's perfectly fine, especially for the now 2-time Gold Glove winner. My biggest thing with him, though, returning potentially, I don't think it's going to happen. Realistically speaking,
that's me too, man. It's just, if it's going to happen, it should have already happened. So I don't think it will.
That in we have Matt Carpenter still on this team. He is making $18 million a year. $18 million. There is not a chance in hell he sits on the bench. He's not riding the bench. If they're paying that contract, they're going to try and find a spot for him. So in my mind, the roster the day-to-day, not lineup, but around the horn will be Yadier Molina at catcher, Paul Goldschmidt at first, then flip over to the other side. Then we got Arenado, Pauly D,
Yep.
You know, we have a mixture of outfielders. You want to talk about O'Neill, Fowler, Bader, Carlson, you know, pick your poison out there, basically.
Right.
But then at second, you look at Tommy Edman and Matt Carpenter. I think they're going to platoon them.
Okay.
I would argue, based on Edman's first 2 seasons, he deserves a starting spot somewhere because he can play anywhere in the infield.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that massive contract, I don't think that's going to happen. I just they're going to try and find a spot for Carpenter. I don't know. What are your do you see any flaws with that, or other than the fact that Matt Carpenter's out there playing on a regular basis?
No. So what I'm thinking here is if the universal DH is implemented, which I believe it is again for this year.
The MLB proposed it. It needs to be approved.
That would help the Cardinals tremendously.
Oh God, it would be so good.
Right?
Yeah.
In the sense that you could still keep Carpenter in the lineup. You could keep Tommy Edman at second, and then you can have your plethora of choice from outfield. And that's basically what the Cardinals like to do anyway. Again, that's why Harrison Bader is out there, because he's a god defensively, but, you know, can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. It's the reality. But, you know, obviously you're not going to have Bader maybe playing defensively all the time, or so maybe you can then grab a guy like Tommy O'Neill who, you know, maybe you do want his bat in the lineup, maybe you don't. So either way, I think defensively there's enough bodies and enough utility men to get the job done. I'd still like to see Wong getting signed, but they can win the division without him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, especially this division. I've been seeing people have been saying this is the NFC East, or West rather. Or no, hold on, East. Whatever the football team's in.
It was the East. And
so kind of a shot at both the NFC East and the NL Central, but either way, I know I saw it earlier. So also if they do implement the universal DH and they do it soon, I think that could give us time to, now we have a reason to sign Colton Wong. And then you could still use Tommy Edman. I love Tommy Edman. I just said he should be a starter, but not if Colton Wong is on the roster.
Couldn't agree more.
So people are saying, talking about Bader. Bader's a hell of a defensive player, and I have been a defender of Bader. I know you and I have talked about this a little bit, actually. I like him, right? I think he's a great defensive player, but he has to get his strikeout rate down. He's got to be basically everything offensively. All those numbers have to come up.
They have to. And I believe he was even under the Mendoza line, and it's like those are RBI opportunities. Those are, you know, momentum killers. And I've always grown up baseball, and my mentality with it is if you hit, you get to play. Manny Ramirez was a complete liability out in left field. Complete liability. He was awful, but he could hit the ball. And my thing is Harrison Bader makes the plays he has no business making, right? But if you put someone else out there who does hit the ball, are they going to make the routine plays, right? And I'm talking about the plays where, you know, as a pitcher, your guy's got to catch that. Sure. Does he save runs? Absolutely. But I'm not asking you to make these highlight reel Superman catches 9 times out of 10. I'm asking you to make the routine plays.
Right.
So to me, you know, I would lean more towards Bader, you're on the bench. That's just me.
Yeah, and DJ Storm bringing this up. Dexter Fowler also has a huge contract, so he's definitely going to play. I agree with that. I know a lot of Cardinals fans really can't stand Dexter Fowler, and I don't know if it's him or if it's the contract. Now, say what you want about the contract. It is what it is. The fact of the matter is he's on the team, right? So they're going to play him. I think he is a great from everything I've seen, everything I've heard. I listen to St. Louis sports talk radio basically every single day. He's a great clubhouse guy. His skills have diminished, and he definitely isn't playing up to that contract, but he isn't as bad as people make it out. right? He is about average when it comes to offense. He's a little bit below average, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Just because he's such a good character guy and such a good clubhouse guy. Because he's on a team. Like they're not dumping the contract. They're no one is going to trade for him. I mean, if the Rockies aren't going to trade for him, nobody's taking him. And what I mean by that is because they got absolutely fleeced in this trade. So if the Rockies aren't willing to take his contract, nobody will. But no, I mean, overall, I think the team looks good. I definitely am way more excited for Cardinals baseball today than I was a week ago.
For sure.
And then as far as the pitching, we'll see, man. I think the rotation specifically could be sneaky good.
I hope so. I just
we had Wainwright. Wainwright had a good season last year statistically. I think he was either the best or second best pitcher next to KK. KK had a great year. Like I had no idea really who he was until basically a week before the season started. And then, of course, Jack Flaherty, if he plays to his abilities, I think he can be a superstar, Cy Young caliber pitcher. And then you got Dakota Hudson to kind of fill in the back end. Miles Michaelis will be back. I don't know. That seems decent.
It seems decent. Which Miles Michaelis are we going to see? Are we going to see 2019 Miles Michaelis or 2020? Yeah. Right. And that's just it. And even Dakota Hudson is, when he's on. Trust me, he's on.
He's good.
And the same thing. I don't know. I mean, I think this is going to be Jack Flaherty's, like, not to say breakout year, because I feel like he's already had that, but this is going to be a really good year for Jack. And
I hope so.
That bullpen is just something else for me too. And it's a wild ride.
It seems like the Cardinals bullpen is always like,
it is. And a lot of that too is like, does that go on the manager? Does that go on Mike? I don't know. I don't feel like he's kind of pulling the right strings at times, maybe leaving guys out there too long, maybe yanking them too soon. But
the Mike Matheny effect there.
And at the same time, I don't want to judge that based off last year, because that was a season that I wouldn't wish upon any kind of manager to manage with all your traveling and all your games. That was ridiculous. And then the Cardinals got off to a bad start there too, which I think is rather important to,
Yeah, the Cardinals played 55 games in 42 days, something like that.
Something that I wouldn't wish upon any pitching staff.
So I think that a lot of people look at the Cardinals last year and are like, are you kidding me? Like they got into the playoffs, but it's contextual in my opinion. Like, yeah, they didn't play very well, but also other than the was it the Marlins that had a crazy outbreak? And I think that the Cardinals had more COVID people out for COVID. I mean, the team was literally locked in a hotel for 2 straight weeks. Like they couldn't leave their hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And apparently, this virus leaves you quite fatigued, and obviously it affects everyone differently, but typically leaves you quite fatigued for months and months after it's actually gone. So I don't know how much we can attribute to that or whatever, but it's definitely a very unique season. I think that the Cardinals were better than what how they performed last year. I will say that. But I don't know. I'm excited. We got some guys coming back. Jordan Hicks will be back.
Yes.
Obviously, Michaelis will be back. So I'm excited. Either way, Cardinals baseball, there's apparently going to be fans in the stands, depending upon where you're located. In Missouri, probably, I would guess, because of Kansas City having fans in the stands, they will have limited fans in the stands. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Cardinals baseball, man.
Wow. I mean, hopefully you can make it out to a game or something if it's,
I'll have to record a little vlog or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I'm excited. Baseball season is, February 17th. It's right around the corner is when pitchers and catchers report. So
yeah.
Whatever happened to Alex Reyes, he's still on the he actually just signed a new contract. I think he signed a 1-year MLB deal. He's still on the squad. He's like
he was getting hit hard, wasn't he?
He what's that?
He was getting hit hard the last time I was looking into him. And I believe he got sent or optioned down to like Double A or Single A.
Well, he played last year, but he wasn't great.
No,
he's basically at this point a middle relief guy. Like if we're getting blown out or we're knocking the ball out of, if it's 18-1 one way or the other, he's the guy you bring in. Hopefully he can turn it around though. I mean, who knows? But Jordan Hicks is going to be back. He throws 126 miles an hour, so that'll be awesome. But yeah, Alex Reyes was supposed to be a prodigy basically, and people were comparing him to Pedro Martinez. And then he had to have Tommy John, and then he came back and got re-injured, and it's just been it's been rough, man. But that's why I look at this deal, this Arenado deal. I'm like, and I was talking with Abby today about it, and I was like, there's no shot in my mind that any one of the guys we gave up will ever be the best at their position as Nolan Arenado is. So we could have given away 3 other, 20 to 25, prospects, like top 20 to 25 prospects. And I'd still say we would have won that deal heavy-handedly. Do you see the Series 1 checklist? Dave G, yes, I have a video coming out actually on Thursday going over the rookies in the checklist. I'm really excited for that. So be on the lookout for that video. Topps 2021 Series 1 checklist. Just giving my thoughts and opinions on it. I think it's pretty good though. Overall, I think the checklist. Have you seen it, Bird?
I briefly, I was kind of just skimming it over on Twitter. I've seen a lot of tweets about it. I haven't seen like the official list. But it's let's just say it's better than hockey Upper Deck Series 1.
It's basically laugh or bust, or is it that bad? Or
it's laugh or bust at this point. I mean, save your money.
Yeah, I was looking on Steel City today, and they already dropped. They're having a sale on Upper Deck Series 1 already, right. And that's not good because it just came out what, a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah, less.
So yeah, Cardinals talk, that portion of the show. Unless you have anything else, unless any of the viewers have anything else, I think we're probably going to move on to the next segment here, because from one current St. Louis team, the best St. Louis team ever, obviously the Cardinals, to a former treasonous St. Louis team, the Los Angeles Rams. Well, I don't know about this Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff trade, man. What are your opinions on it? I'll give you the first go at this one, and then we'll talk about it. So here, let me say what the full trade was, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was Matthew Stafford to the Rams from the Lions in exchange for Jared Goff, a 2021 third-round draft pick, a 2022 first-round draft pick, and a 2023 first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
All right. So
First and foremost, I can literally see Ford Field from my bedroom window.
Nice.
Lions fans are surrounding me. And I like Matt Stafford. I have always been a believer in Matt Stafford, and I have always said, you can make a case that he's top 10, top 15 quarterback. Again, a case. Wasn't saying that he was. Yeah. I thought Matt Stafford was great, and I always said if Matt Stafford goes to a team with a running back in a decent defense, watch out. They could be Super Bowl contenders. Now, as a Matt Stafford lover, I wish he would have went to the Colts, because that would have just propelled him more. However, Sean McVay has always hated for the last year and a half to 2 years. He hasn't quite gotten along with Jared Goff, which is weird because 2 or 3 seasons ago they made the Super Bowl and Sean McVay was like, hey, this is our man. All of a sudden he starts fumbling. He starts making bad decisions with the ball, and then they want to get rid of him. With that being said, he's not a terrible quarterback. Like the whole media says, oh, he's awful, he's awful, he's awful. I watched that playoff game with the surgically repaired thumb and the pins in there. He was quite accurate, and he did enough to win a football game. If you ask me who won that trade, the Detroit Lions won that, no question about it. No question about it. And even if you are a Lions fan, be happy for Matt Stafford going, because listen, Matt Stafford wasn't going to win in Detroit. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Now he's got his chance to do it. And if you're the Lions, you can rebuild. Like, you got a 3rd round draft pick. I actually on the way home, I was listening. Knox was a 3rd round draft pick, and I believe Brait, the tight end for the Buccaneers, he was also a 3rd round draft pick. So if they want to pick up someone like that, they can. And then again, you have these 2 first round draft picks, and you have a pretty reliable quarterback in Jared Goff, who got into a Super Bowl not too long ago. And the Lions can actually build off this, and they did a favor to Matt Stafford. Get him here. Like, I am so happy. This is the best thing that's ever happened to his career, man.
Yeah, man. I pretty much agree with you. I initially, when I saw it come down, and it on my ESPN app or whatever, I was like, this only proves that Stan Kroenke, and I'm very biased, right? I hate Stan Kroenke, but it proves that Stan Kroenke and his cronies have no idea how to run a professional football team. Like, they are leveraging the farm here. They are going all in. Now, I will say, if the if the Rams win a Super Bowl next season, or I think there's 2 more years left on his contract, if they win a Super Bowl, throw all that out of it doesn't matter. He's a genius, whatever. Crucify me, because it'll be an excellent division. Rings are way more important than draft picks, right? Yep. So if they win a Super Bowl, if the Rams can win a Super Bowl, and they looked pretty good. They had the best defense in the NFL last year, or this past year. So if they win a Super Bowl, great. It was worth it. But if they don't, they have 2 years, I believe, on his contract. 2 years left on Matt Stafford's contract. If they don't win a Super Bowl, this was an absolutely terrible trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for the Lions, what do the Lions have to lose? You know what I mean? For the Lions, that's a no-brainer. That's someone who, has done everything to you. But I'm also seeing in the comments here, and I can't agree more, the Lions don't even have a GM. The Lions don't have anyone making football decisions. I think it's Chris Spielman now, who's the what do you call it? The football operator executive or whatever. And he's kind of just there to say, yes, do that, or no, do that.
Yes,
because again, the Ford family has no clue what they're doing. And it's just, the Lions are, I'll just come out and say it, the Lions are probably the worst organization in pro sports. Just awful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would have to really think about it, really, to,
I do have a quick question for you, though, here, right?
Sure.
If Stafford, knowing his resume, is worth 2 first-round picks, what's a guy like Deshaun Watson worth?
Oh, man. See, I was reading an article right before we made the call tonight, and that is, his stock definitely rose, right?
Yeah.
It is good if you are the Houston Texans front office, I think, because Deshaun Watson is a very good, I think, not many people would disagree. He's a very good quarterback. And I think his stock went up a lot. I think this will probably have a ripple effect for because there's going to be a lot of changes around the league with, Aaron Rodgers is apparently having some issues with Green Bay. He feels slighted in some way. I don't know the full story. I'm not a Packers fan. I've said it before. I like Aaron Rodgers' personality. He has a very dry sense of humor and doesn't mind, talking a little smack here and there. And I like that. He's on the Pat McAfee show all the time. And I don't know. I don't know if you watch that ever, but he's funny. He's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's good for quarterbacks all around the league. This is giving them leverage, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And again, like I will say this, the Lions draft picks are only going to be as good as what they do with them. If you go out and draft an Eric Ebron 9th overall and then trade him like 2 to 3 seasons later, if you don't do anything with your picks, like if I'm the Lions, I keep hearing it all the time. Oh, well, the Lions need to use that first round draft pick and draft a QB just in case. And it's like, why not let Goff play, see what he can do, and then if you need to use that, 2023 pick, or whatever it is, then use that first round draft pick and get a QB, or maybe you'll just suck so much that you'll get your own draft pick. And I don't know. There's just so many options for the Lions there, and that trade it made sense for both squads.
Yeah, 2022 and 2023. Those are the first round. Right. So, but yeah, again, if the Rams end up coming back and winning a Super Bowl, disregard this conversation. This never happened, because then it'll be worth it. And I guess a broken clock is correct twice a day in regards to Stan Kroenke and Les Snead in that god-awfully run organization. Why do they sign these dudes to such large contracts and then literally like the next year, like, all right, bye? Like they did it with Todd Gurley. Then they did it with the wide receiver. I'm blanking on his name. Quinn. I think it was Quinn or something. Yeah. He was one of the holdover, actually. I can't even remember the dude's name, but he was on the St. Louis Rams. And then they did it here with Goff. Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
And I saw somebody was like, oh, this is like good if they, kind of like what we're saying. And like how they're like, but they were saying, oh, that they're running the organization fine. I'm like, dude, they're literally fixing a mistake, aka the signing of Jared Goff to this crazy contract with another potential huge mistake. Like they're putting Band-Aids on something that needs immediate surgery. Like, I don't know, man. I think when you said worst run teams, I was like, well, the Rams are pretty damn bad too. But
no, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, you got
I know I'm
playoff win in 60 years. This is it's a joke, absolute joke. And then what do they go off and do? They just draft another running back and then sign Adrian Peterson. It's like, I don't know why you need 7 running backs, but it is what it is. They can just lose and come in last place every year.
It's because the only time they were good was when Barry Sanders was in the league, and that's what they remember. That's what they know.
That's why you can't have the minds of people who create automobiles running a football team.
Yeah, no joke.
Just a joke.
It runs good, slaps it. You can fit so many yards in this running back, and then you're looking at this tired, sad Adrian Peterson like, no more. Get a good quarterback. I can't. Yeah. No, but I like Stafford. I think and I know a lot of people in chat are saying everybody's making excuses for him as to why. But come on, man. You're only as good as what the team, especially in football, you're only as good as the team around you as a quarterback.
So many drop passes, and I mean, at the end of the day, like if you're a defensive coordinator, 3rd down, 3rd and 1, you still know they're throwing it. 4th quarter, they're throwing it. Like it's just. And it's the same stuff all over again, but everyone listening and watching this knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm happy though. My first initial tweet was, "I'm happy for Matt Stafford to finally get out of Detroit. Like, good for him.
I think that's going to do wonders. He's actually got an opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl where, I mean, let's face it, the Lions were never, I mean, Megatron days are long over. But yeah, if anybody in chat has anything else to say, get your comments in for that one. We are going to switch gears, talk some sports cards, because after all, this is loosely what this podcast is supposed to be about. Also, Jared Goff and Matt Stafford's cards went absolutely nutty after the trade on both sides. So Matt Stafford's cards started to skyrocket. Same with Goff. I mean, and same with Nolan Arenado, really. So, I mean, I've got a couple of these.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Nolan Arenado. But, yeah, I mean, I asked the question several weeks ago on my Twitter account, if X player, I don't even remember who it was, but I was like, if X player gets traded, will the card spike? Majority of the folks said no. I just disagreed with it at the time. I think at this point, if you are getting traded out of a bad situation or out of a perceived bad situation, your cards will be impacted very positively.
Sure. I mean, not to like switch sports too much, but like the whole Pierre-Luc Dubois situation, and he's going out of like a pretty small market in Columbus for the Blue Jackets, and now he's going to play for Winnipeg, and Winnipeg's already playing great hockey. So like, yeah, his card, like, I almost felt bad. It's like, you know, I released the video and then it seems like 8 hours later, his card almost doubled in price. Like, it just, the news broke at that point. And
you're manipulating the market again.
Well, of course, that's all I'm doing, right?
You're sitting on 1,000 of them and you just, that always gets.
I wish I was that smart.
Yeah, right?
Not even gonna lie, man. I had to buy one at the high.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this, but to put it on wax, to put it on record, I do not think that channels as small as Red Cape Sports and as LessAlex, I don't think we really affect the market. And if we do, it's for 48 hours and the prices go back to what they were, right? Yeah. That's my thought. Feel free to disagree, but
yeah, like, come to my house, look at my collection, look at everything I have, and it's like,
yeah, right.
Like, you'll quickly realize, you'll be like, dude, like, you made a video of this and you don't even have a card.
You don't even own any, right?
No, I don't even own a card. It's just, I don't have the money for that.
It's like, if I had it, I would do it. No, yeah, that's always funny to me. Yeah, DJ actually bringing up a great point, kind of switching gears back to baseball. Trevor Story's cards will be next to spike. I definitely agree with that. Actually, I think it was MLB.com, maybe MLB Network. They put out their top 5 shortstops, and he was number 1. So, I mean, I like Trevor Story a lot. I think he is probably the most underrated, underappreciated shortstop. I don't know if I'd put him at number 1 though, but he's very good. Defensively, he's great. You can talk about the Coors effect. That's a long, overused argument for basically everyone, and including Arenado. But I like Trevor Story. I have several stories. I have a PSA 10 Chrome, and I have I think 10 regular Chromes, just raw. So I like him a lot. I'm invested in him. You know, not heavy, but for my standards, everybody knows this. I'm not balling out here. I'm balling on a budget. So, but yeah,
I think he was I really enjoyed that video that you made, and you know, where you mentioned Story and other guys, and yeah, if you guys listen to Les, like, you probably made them some money for sure.
Well, that's what we try.
More value, man, for sure.
Not saying you're gonna get rich on my predictions, but I guess if you had a lot of money to put in people, maybe you would. But Alex pumped the market. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right?
I talked about Nolan Arenado a year and a half ago, and now it's the trades come to fruition, and I pumped the market. Yeah. It's not the fact that people were going crazy that he's on a relevant team now,
or not the fact that just his skill alone is really good, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, so that's there's something to be said with people that are on like mind-numbingly good numbers, like Arenado, like Story, that are just not in the right market for the hobby to really even care. always want to talk about, oh, this is another junk wax era, right? I'm sure you get that occasionally.
All the time.
I think the big difference though is the internet, right? Like back in the late 80s, early 90s, they didn't have internet. You had to go into a shop, find the card that you wanted. Like now you can go on your phone, go on eBay. Like even if you're not privy to what Star Stock is or what ComC is, everybody knows what eBay is. You can go on, look up, okay, I like, who's my favorite player? Aaron Judge. Love that guy. Boom. Bought it. Like it's that easy.
That's just
my favorite player is not Aaron Judge. That was an example.
Dude, you nailed it. Like it's becoming increasingly more and more easy to get into the hobby, right? And like I hate comparing it to Bitcoin, but it's like, you know how many people didn't know how to get into Bitcoin? Like they just didn't know how to. So then they didn't. But it's like the sports hobby, and you know, whether it be content creators like myself or yourself, or you know, it's a fun, easy hobby to get into. And honestly, I've seen it grow. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I have literally seen the numbers in the hobby grow. So you know, if anyone now is like just watching like for the first time, like I don't know, like don't let, if you want to get into it. Just get into it. Dip your foot.
I had a buddy from college message me today and said, hey man, I've been watching some of your videos. I see you're doing cool stuff. He's a baseball fan. He's a Cardinals fan. He's like, what's a good set to dig my teeth into? Super new. Don't know anything about, he doesn't know what the hobby is. He's like, I don't know anything about it. I was like, well, you know, if you're just wanting to collect, Topps 2021 looks pretty sweet. Maybe do a pre-order. So he ended up going on Steel City and pre-ordering him some, I think he got a gravity box, but anyways, he's like, yeah, I bought this. Is it good? I'm like, sure. I mean, it's not price wise. It's a good price. It's like $118 or whatever for a gravity box. So yeah, I mean, people are coming out of the woodwork, man. People are coming out of the woodwork. Sports fans. It's fun. This is fun. Half the show, we didn't even talk about sports cards. We were just talking about what trades happen. It's fun to talk about it. It's a fun way, you know, if people don't want to necessarily bet on a game, right? That's my thing. I'm not a bettor. I don't bet on sports. But this is a fun way to have the physical cards, right? They're here. This is a physical product. So I don't know, man. It's just fun. It's just fun.
It's so fun. Like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I remember old me, you know, I used to bet on sports constantly, and obviously it got me down a dark road. And that's why I don't. You know, we'll just leave it at that. But it's like now I don't have to worry about that bad bet. I can just bet on a career, right?
Yeah.
And like Jimmy Fallon said in the movie Fever Pitch, right? You can have a bad day. You can, or you know, like you can have a good day. You can have a good week. But like, can you have a great month? Can you have a great career? Maybe not. And it's like these numbers are all there, specifically in baseball, to help us. And there's good buys, there's bad buys. Dude, I got cards that it's like, you know, they're not for investment, period. This card just looks super cool. Yeah. And I got people walking down here all the time. Well, not all the time, but pre-COVID. And
sure.
It's a conversation starter. There's a story to that, right? And it's why do you collect David Freese? You know, then I tell them about Deep Freeze. And that was my 16th birthday. And like, it's a conversation starter. And it's just, it's a good time, man. Brings back all the good memories of just, man, now you're making me miss my local LCS.
Yeah, man. I know. Yeah. And kind of like that, you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. Like I've been watching a lot of wrestling recently. I don't know if anybody's following me on Twitter. I've been talking a lot about wrestling. I grew up watching back Stone Cold, The Rock days, back in the Attitude Era, but I'm getting back into it. And I'm looking at these cards. I'm like, okay, AJ Styles, rookie card, autographed, pretty cool. Only $78. Pretty decent, in my opinion. AJ Styles is one of my favorite wrestlers. So, anyway, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just fun. It's just fun. I think it's a better way to kind of bet on baseball.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun to get people involved. Like people coming out of the woodwork, your buddies are, wait a second. Hold on. What's this sports card thing? I saw that Trout sold for $10K. Or I saw that Wayne Gretzky sold for $1 million. Like people that weren't ever interested in the hobby are getting in now. And that kind of moves us to our next topic. Michael Jordan, widely known as the GOAT. 2 of his Fleer rookie cards, PSA 10, on January 30th sold for $738,000. The reason this is substantial is because the population report is relatively high compared to, I mean, it's enormous compared to the Gretzky. I think it's in the hundreds, maybe even, I think it's like less than 300 for this PSA 10.
That's all right.
But still, that's way more because there's only 2 or 3 Gretzkys. But as we saw, and as I kind of said in my video I did a video about Gretzky going to $1 million. And I was like, okay, what's next for Michael Jordan? Because these are just going to leapfrog each other until this hobby cools off. And sure enough, 2 of them sold for $738,000.
Wow.
300 pop report. There's probably not going to be many opened, right? We're not going to find any in grandma's attic.
Yeah.
Probably not many of them, at least, especially in a 10. But man, it's crazy. It's going to get to the point where everything's one-upping. Okay, so if he is worth $738,000, how much is a Messi or a Ronaldo? Because those are relatively cheap if you look at their first cards. You know, there's stickers out there, and soccer can be a little convoluted on figuring out what's the true rookie. But I think the market kind of decides what's a true rookie, because 1986 was not Michael Jordan's rookie year, but that is the classic rookie card of his. And Jordan PSA 8 just is sold for like $38,000, as DJ Storm just said. I saw that on Instagram right before I made the call for tonight. 38 grand. Jeez, like it's getting up there, man. It's getting fun. If you got money.
I don't think that's necessarily like the ceiling either. Like,
oh no,
like you said, man, like it's just gonna continue rising. And like, even look at Connor McDavid. Like, Connor McDavid is still quite underpriced, and as I'm speaking, he's averaging 2 points per game. 2 points per game, 22 points in 11 games, and it's like, okay, like why am I seeing Zion Williamson cards significantly higher than Connor McDavid cards or other sports? And like it's ridiculous. And there's
speaking of Connor McGregor's cards are going nuts. I know, right? It went nuts,
really? Even after, kind of getting put to sleep.
Well, before the fight, his cards went nuts. They did drop a little bit, but he's gonna fight again. That hype is gonna be right back there, and I'm sure it's gonna go. And at least reach where it was pre-fight, because the man is an icon, whether you love him or hate him and that's the thing about him. He's very polarizing, right? He's kind of like, I'm not, I don't know. He's very, very polarizing. Let's just say that.
He's got a lot of international followers, I believe, too.
Oh yeah. But it's just awesome, man. Seeing these cards go, and I don't own any of these cards that we're talking. I don't own a Trout. I almost, and I regret it, obviously hindsight, but I almost wanted to spend my stimmy check on a Trout. I didn't. I made the more responsible decision to not. But McDavid is the LeBron/Luka of hockey. Yeah, I don't know if he's on LeBron's level. He's very good. Don't get me wrong, but that legacy, like if he were to have a career-ending injury, I don't think he'd be walking himself into the hall. But he's definitely Luka. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not even a debate in terms of like who's the best player in the NHL. It's Connor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. as much as I want it to be Austin Matthews, it's not. It's not.
Goal scoring wise, don't give up on that. I think Austin Matthews will have him beat when it's all said and done, career wise, not points wise. Goal wise, I think Matthews will have him beat.
McJesus is amazing. Sooner or later, Crosby's card. Yeah, I agree with that. I know. Absolutely. That's the thing too, and I didn't say this earlier, but I meant to. When the top guy in a sport starts going up, that is just gradually going to drag, whether they want to or not. It's going to drag all of the other like lower end guys, not lower, but like the other lesser all-stars. So, you got LeBron going for crazy numbers. I think it was like 58,000 or whatever. Obviously MJ going to almost 800K. That's going to bring up LeBron. That's going to bring up KD. That's going to bring up Kawhi and so on, and Giannis and everybody. He's going to bring everybody up. And same with Trout. I could see, my God, I could see Juan Soto's been going, his card's been going crazy recently, but I could see that. Could you see that? I mean, correct me if you think I'm wrong or if you think I'm crazy. I could see that Topps Chrome getting to $1,000 before opening day. I could see that. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's the same thing with Tatis and Acuna. Like, honestly, I look at it.
Maybe not that much because for whatever reason, the market has decided that Juan Soto is that guy right now, and they're just lashing on him.
Guy. Right. But, like, all I'm saying here is, like, when I'm looking at, arguably speaking, the top 3 young stud baseball players, Soto, Acuna, and Tatis, I look at it and, like, honestly, again, I sold my last Tatis to Mitch, my brother from Red Cape Sports. Yeah. I don't even have one, and I still think it's like extremely undervalued. I really do. Just looking at what other players' card prices are, I think it's ridiculous. At, I don't want to say a discount, but I think it's got a lot of room for growth. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And right now, on Star Stock, a PSA 10 sold for $259.
Soto?
Of Tatis, sorry.
That's wow. Yeah.
But Soto, I mean, his Chrome is going for $800 on Star Stock.
Okay, so that's just it. Like, is he? What would that be? Like, is that even twice the player, 3 times the player, 4 times the player? I don't know.
That's the big argument, right?
I would argue probably not. Personally.
Yeah, that's the big argument. Is those 3 players, Tatis, Acuna, and Soto? Those are the guys that I get more questions about than any other players. Those 3 guys, and everybody's like, which one? I mean, they're getting pretty expensive. But my normal response would be, why pick just one? Like, they're all good. And actually, I have a poll on my Twitter. If you guys want to go check it out, at LessAlex. I posted, and feel free to answer, obviously, in 10 years down the road, which PSA 10 will be more expensive? Their flagship, iconic. So we're talking about the 2011 Topps Update, Mike Trout. So it's Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Acuna, Soto, or Tatis.
Or Tatis, yeah.
So which do you think of those 5 guys is in 10 years? Obviously, Pujols is going to be retired. Trout will be in the twilight of his career probably, unless he's a maniac and, Tom Brady kind of guy, LeBron James kind of guy. But Soto will be in the prime. He'll be 34, right? It'll be 32 because he's 22.
Yeah, he's 22.
So he'll be in the prime. Tatis and Acuna will be probably exiting their prime, or right in the middle of right in the back 9 of their prime. But of those guys, what do you think in 10 years? Whose card is going to be most expensive of those 5 guys? And chat, feel free to type your answer or go over and vote.
On that. I actually voted in on that, and I actually went with Mike Trout, which might be playing it safe.
It's definitely the safe bet.
Even if they have like ridiculous careers, like I think that those 3 can have, I just think, well, it's going to take so much for them to catch up to Trout And Trout's still, like you said, he's still probably got 8 to 10 years left, maybe more. I don't know. And if that's the case, it's just the catch-up game.
Is he 28? He's 28.
He's 28 or 29, right? 28 or 29. So he's probably not got 10 years realistically.
Well, with modern medicine, and if he keeps up with he seems like a professional. He doesn't seem like he's going to do it off the court or off the field shenanigans.
Yeah.
But
like, look at what we already do know. How many MVPs does he have? 3?
Right.
Probably could have had 4. That's the whole different debate. But, is between Soto, Acuna, and Tatis, are any of them going to win an MVP? More than likely, yes. But is that guaranteed? I don't know. If Trout does finally even make the playoffs, it seems like at this point, because the Angels are just, we'll build around you. Sure, you will. But if he wins a World Series, that'll skyrocket in price. If he wins another MVP, another batting title, whatever it is, that's all I'm saying. He already has so many accolades, and it's just playing catch up at this point. And again, a guy like Pujols, I think Pujols. How many guys do you know that have 650 plus home runs and 2,000 RBIs?
Well, there's literally 4, right?
Yeah, right. So he's not, because he's not, obviously he's actively playing, but because he's not actively crushing 45 plus home runs and 100 RBIs, I think that hurts him, right? And we're always speaking about, these young, attractive guys as we are now, these 3 young players, but I think that's hurting Pujols' prices. And again, I don't know what they are offhand, but I believe they're still significantly cheaper.
So you can get a PSA 10 of the Topps traded, so in my opinion, very ugly green set. For whatever reason, Topps made a green. Why? Anyways, I always hated that card as a kid. Even though it is the best photo, in my opinion. But you can get those for right around 3.5, right around 2.8, 3.5 thousand. So for PSA 10, that's Topps traded. That's Topps traded. That's paper. That's not the chrome. So,
okay.
I think that's undervalued. I mean, I think that's very undervalued. I don't have, and again, I don't own any of these, and I don't have $4,000 or $5,000 to throw at a card, but I mean, so Ryan Conrath, longtime listener, definitely not a first-time commenter, but he says, I think Soto will be the best hitter. Acuna is the most well-rounded, but Tatis has the most star power, if that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And in fact, I've said that before. Yeah. I think it's no secret Juan Soto is probably the best pure hitter, raw talent, maybe in the game. And I include Trout and Mookie and Belly in that conversation. He's so damn young. and he's doing stuff we've never seen before from somebody his age. And Acuna, obviously a 5-tool, quote-unquote 5-tool player, probably going to be a 40-40 guy eventually. But Tatis, he speaks English. First off, that's huge. Yeah, and he's bat flipping. He's breaking the unwritten rules, swinging at 3-0 counts, and not giving a damn, and not apologizing for it. And swaggy as hell. He's the cover athlete on the new MLB The Show, which is huge. That does matter. Those things do pay a huge over. Very important. But I don't know, man. When it comes to those 3, I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think it's player versus each other. I think it's whichever one you feel strongest about, go with it and don't have regrets whenever. If you picked Acuna and Soto goes nuts a season, don't sell and buy all in the Soto. Stick with your horse and ride it, because these are long-term picks, I believe.
Yeah. Another thing that I love about Tatis too, that I don't necessarily think gets spoken about. I know recently he's been wearing a lot of pink armbands and things like that. And I watched an interview that he did with it, and I guess there was a major Padres fan who wrote into him saying that he was getting bullied because hand-me-downs and he had to wear pink clothes. And I guess Tatis like, you know what? We're going to make pink cool again.
Cool.
And I just thought that was super cool. I watched a video where, like you said, he was mic'd up and he's speaking fluent English, right? And I think if Soto and Acuna had that, like, there's just English tends to be the language, right? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, if I want to invest in him or a guy like Soto, you know, and if he's not speaking my native tongue, you know, these interviews don't necessarily do anything for me. I can sit down and watch an Acuna interview, but it's translated and then translated again and translated back. Like, it just doesn't have that effect. Like you said, like, swaggy as hell. He's got the glasses. He's got the dreads. Call them dreadlock hair.
He's just cool.
He's a cool guy. Like, I want to be his friend.
Yeah, exactly. And but I mean, in terms of those three, you can't go wrong. But I think Tatis is just the dude. I bought one of his PSA 10s before the season started last year for, I think, like $70, $78 in that range.
Was that regular or chrome?
Regular. Yeah. I prefer paper. Now, if chrome starts getting more and more popular because some of the basketball folks are coming into baseball, I might have to reevaluate it, because chrome, if it's selling better, because traditionally paper just sells easier because the pop reports are typically smaller because chrome grades easier. But if more basketball folks get in and that's what they like the shiny, they're used to prisms and stuff, maybe I switch gears. But no, I think Tatis is great. But what I was saying, before the playoffs started, I bought another one for like $130, and I was like, man, I should have just bought both of these back then, because it's like, if you're gonna spend it then, you know, I could have saved a bunch of money. But anyways, I don't know, it's good. I'm excited for this baseball season. We got Michael Hamm saying Harper's undervalued. I still believe that. He did spike up a little bit last year, but I think he is gonna have himself a hell of a season this year. You know, they got the thing figured out with JT Realmuto. He was very upset that initially the Phillies said, we're not going to re-sign him. They got the deal done. I think he's going to have a great year this year. MVP caliber season. I think he's going to have a great season.
I've said for a very long time, I think Harper is undervalued. But the thing with Harper and the market is, I see a lot of people claiming this is the rookie, this is the rookie, this is the rookie.
Many of them.
There's so many variations.
There's so many.
But like, the market still hasn't quite run away with which one just sells better or which one is the most desirable. So I think arguably that's why I have kind of held off. I like Harper. I think he plays the game with passion and grit, and I love it. And he fulfilled his promise and brought a championship to DC. I knew you'd catch on to that.
Yeah, that's funny. No, man. And that is the thing with him, is there are so many rookie cards of his. And I know there's the batting. It's a super short print.
Yeah.
And it's worth a lot of money, like $1,000, but it's a short print, so you kind of take that with a grain of salt,
right?
But somebody in chat said Heritage. I think that one's really expensive though too. DJ Storm, are you kind of ribbing me, or is that legit? Because I think that one is very expensive. I think that's like close to $1,000 as well. But you know, those Heritage high numbers get kind of nutty. The Mookie Betts one's specifically insane. Tatis's dad played baseball. Investors tend to like, I like that too. I love whenever you got a guy who's a second generation guy. I mean, the baby Blue Jays, all those Blue Jays all have dads that played. You know, you got Dante Bichette, obviously Vlad Glad Sr., and then Greg Biggio. Yeah, so that's great. And then they got Nate Pearson, he looks like he could be a stud.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just man, this is good things, good stuff. Last thing I wanted to talk about, Star Stock. Again, guys, if you haven't yet signed up for Star Stock, here's a little plug. Use my code, my name, LessAlex, capital L, capital A. When you sign up and deposit your first amount, you'll get $10 out of your account. I'll get $10 out of mine. It helps everybody. Win-win. And free money for sports cards. But Star Stock recently just submitted or got back their first group PSA submission. And a pretty interesting thing on an Instagram post I saw a couple days ago. They revealed the gem rate. Now, one thing about this, though, and you and I were talking about this in the pre-show.
Yeah.
We didn't reveal what the percentage of these were PSA, or not PSA, were Star Stock A's versus Star Stock B's, Star Stock C's. So that information, if anyone in the chat knows, were they all Star Stock A's? Were some of them Star Stock B's and so on? Let me know in the comment section, like right now, because I would love to know. Yes. Because they gave us their percentages and their overall numbers. So out of 1,178 cards graded, again, we don't know if these are Star Stock A's or not. 92% of them came back either 10s or 9s. And then the actual breakdown of that was 473 came back as 10s or 40%. And then 616 came back 9s, and that is 616 or 52% came back 9s. And then 6% came back 8s, and then 1% came back lower than 8s. So very interesting. My big takeaway from this, if those were all Star Stock A's, this is actually not good.
Not good at all.
In my opinion. However, if they were a mix of A's and B's, I think this is a win. But I find it interesting that they didn't tell us. It's kind of weird, in my opinion. Little bit of a red flag, in my opinion. If anybody knows, though, if they did release that information, and I just didn't see it, or I overlooked it, let me know.
See, and correct me if I'm wrong too, right? Because you use the platform more so than I do, and I dabbled with it, of course, but
sure.
I also believe that I've seen interviews as well with like representatives from Star Stock, basically saying that a Star Stock A, 85% of the time should get a 10, which I heard that originally and again, I don't necessarily know if it was 85%, but it was a rather high number that they mentioned.
It was arbitrarily large.
Hearing that was like, whoa, that's a bold statement. So you're telling me, if I have 1,000 cards or even 100 cards, like if I send off 100 cards, Star Stock A, I'm going to get like 85 PSA 10s. Sometimes I think people tend to forget like a 10 is like, that's like an immaculate card. Because there's almost nothing wrong, at least to the naked eye, with a 9. So I just, like you said, we need to know the percentages, how much were A's and how much were B's. Because if all these A's are coming back 9s and 8s, now we got an issue.
That is huge. That is very alarming to me. If they're all A's. If there are A's and B's, then I feel that this is actually very strong. This puts Star Stock in a very strong position because obviously they have a professional grading team who I mean, I use the platform. I like the platform. Yeah. I think everybody should at least try it. But, it's very strange to me that they didn't reveal what was the breakdown on A, B, C, and so on. Yeah. But I don't know. I think overall this is good. I think the group submission is great for the hobby. If you can find, I know there are other reputable PSA submission groups out there. And I think that it's very enticing to me to want to send cards in. I haven't yet sent cards in. I'm trying to, all my local stores, I've called around to a couple places. They don't have team bags right now. So you have to send them You have to send the cards to Star Stock, not in top loaders, but in penny sleeves. And to protect them, you smash them together and wrap them in a team bag. So I haven't yet done that. I've been meaning to get that video out, but again, maybe I'll probably call tomorrow again and see if they're restocked yet. But man, it's good though. I think that you get through the process quicker doing a giant, especially with Star Stock being the company that it has in short time gained a very positive reputation. You know, and yeah, I think group submissions are great as long as you're going through the right, you know, people and right groups. People have asked me, am I going to do group submissions? I don't know if you guys at Red Cape have gotten that question asked. There's no way.
And the answer is never, ever.
Yeah.
No, I'm not putting that liability, and no way.
Yeah, it's too much of a liability. I'll leave it at that. I would hate for, you know, God, you're, you know, one of one Mike Trout or some nonsense get ruined.
Or get lost, or
yeah.
Right.
So that will never happen on this channel unless, you know, I get to like 100K subscribers and I got a whole team working for me or something. But until that point. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on. I think we're about good to wrap up. We've been doing it for an hour and 20. If you guys have any last second questions or anything like that, get them in right now. I'm saying like right now, because we kind of went over a little bit, but good conversation as always, Birdman. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Again, guys, go check out Red Cape Sports. Their YouTube channel is linked in the description below. And if you want to tell everybody where else they can find you on all the other socials.
Yeah, guys. So again, we do have a free Facebook group at Red Cape Sports.
And I'm in there.
Yeah, Les is in there. Mike Stefano, the hockey card guru, as we call him, he's also in there. And I believe we're nearing 500 members, or we have hit 500 members.
Nice.
It's pretty close. So, you know, it's a free group. Definitely log on into there. And again, if you guys want to follow some of my, you know, weird things that I tweet, and if you actually follow me on Twitter, because I am on a mission and I need everyone's help. I am trying to get Luka Doncic to respond to me on Twitter. It's not working out. We're on like day 36 right now. So anyway, my Twitter is bird_Bouchard, and I might be tweeting at Luka Doncic until I'm 100 years old.
Right. Day 3000. Yeah, guys. And thank you guys for watching. If you're listening, I appreciate you. Again, 5-star reviews, no 1s or 2s. That's garbage. Just DM me on Twitter and tell me you hate me and that I'm stupid. But I appreciate everybody for watching and for listening. Again, join my Discord, the LessAlex Cardboard Connoisseurs. We're talking about sports cards. People are trading and selling and buying. Got an awesome community. I'm excited, though. Baseball season's right around the corner. Sports card market is going absolutely nutty. And obviously, MJ going crazy. Nolan Arenado, baby. I hope he continues to play well and can bring a championship to St. Louis. Knock on wood. But I'm excited. Obviously, the Rams doing what they do, signing dudes to big money and then trade them away. I appreciate everybody, though, for hanging out tonight. And, of course, until next time, keep cracking packs, keep collecting. I'll see y'all in the next one.